Well, folks, how y'all doing today? Now, folks, if I had to take a stab at things and just venture a guess as to what working white America would want if they had a say, a real say, here's what I would wager I would put forward. One, this entire healthcare debate it's artificial. It's fake. It's a debate between which form of corporate welfare for health insurance companies that deprives people of health care all the way around are we going to accept? Planned death or planned slow death? Okay, all right. Now, working white Americans would want something that actually provided health care, a decent level of profit for the actual providers of the healthcare, that is, doctors and nurses and hospitals, while cutting out these parasites that have engulfed our legislative and bureaucratic process, maybe the courts too, even. Yeah, yeah. Whites might want that. Working whites might want that, and it's completely possible because remember, the United States is not Uganda. We actually have resources to work with, lots of them. They're simply misallocated such that greedy, scummy people get far more of the table than they should, and far more than they ever can eat, to the point where they're just knocking things on the floor to smear them around just because they arrogantly can. Well, that's just a little too much for my tastes, and most working Americans would want to see that in. We're not egalitarian. We absolutely understand, us working people, that equality does not exist. However, there is such a thing called decency and honor and duty and all of these other things that the elite in the Western world have abdicated, that they've simply given up on. They've become disgusting parodies of Caligula. And frankly, the working class would want that ended if we had our way. Most of them, though they probably can't articulate the words, would simply wish to see this phony, liberal, false political battle come to an end, and for proper patriarchal authority to assume the mantle of government. In other words, we wish to undo the glorious revolution amongst the Anglo-Saxons and reinstitute something like the Stuarts. Right. No shame. Direct. Why? Well, frankly, when one man rules, you can round him up and put him on trial for whatever he does and hang him if you have to. But when you're ruled by an international clique of money-lending scum carpetbaggers, and that's exactly who rules the Anglo world, particularly the United States, it's much harder to do that. They're a little more gelatinous and sort of amorphous, sort of shapeless, formless. Right? There's no center of authority, and this lack of a center of authority allows for this never-ending train of abuses, this never-ending train of outrages and lies and thefts and deceits that our government conducts against us. And frankly, the white working class wants this to end. We want to be treated like adults who actually participate, since we do, in fact, do most of the wretched low labor that provides for this system to actually exist. And we've come to the simple mind that these parasites that will live off us, and the middle class too, and the lower administrative caste, well, those three sets of people are all that are needed to have a functional economy, polity, and society. You see, a healthy body, the working class knows this, that a healthy body finds the parasites and it digs them out, and it removes them, and it gets rid of them. And so, if you're going to fix the political problem, you have to fix the economic problem. You have to fix the problem of being ruled by treacherous merchants that have no loyalty to your people. And the easiest way to do that is for your people to assume their own finance themselves. There's lots of ways this could be done, but in the Anglo world, the credit union concept is right there at hand, and essentially you can have a national system of credit unions that allows for liquidity as needed for commerce, but that rewards producers and savers, people who really build things, really invest things, and really save money. have a tax and a policy system that rewards them, as well as a financial system designed to reward them. And it seems to me that prosperity will come running on your heels, because you'll have jobs, you'll have production coming, because people will be rewarded now for investing here in honest pursuits that make goods, widgets that can be sold. Yeah. Doesn't that sound like sound economics to you all now? Now that's what we'd like. Something like this country to be ran like a household, where there's a budget and there's this much money and you spend this and that's that. And we don't constantly run ourselves $16 trillion into debt to parasites. But if we must take on debt, if the country can give a bank the power to do this, why can't the country do this for itself, to its own advantage? Make the pain as least as possible and the benefits as general as possible. Doesn't that seem more just to the best ends of what government's supposed to do? All these things that you all clamor about from your piece of paper, yeah? Yeah. Because that's the other thing, is the working class are not enamored with your piece of paper. They don't have the time to read the flowery language of the founders, and they don't care about that. They care about jobs, housing, crime, their children's future, right? And how much they're being bled in taxes to pay for all of this. And frankly, there's only so many words I could use here, and this is a circus shit show. Yeah. This is like watching monkeys throw poo at each other, this government society that we are living in now, and that I'm voicing at least surely what I believe are some serious objections that most working class whites, particularly Americans, have to this system. I don't know about the Canadians so much, since most of them talk to are middle class, but they don't seem happy with their system either. The people that I've talked to across the English-speaking European world do not seem happy with the world around them, right? At all. They see that, much like in America, that these hordes of people are flooding in, they're destroying things, they're going on welfare, they're taking their jobs, they're running down their communities, they're endangering their families, they're endangering their children, they're making their children's schools into prisons that are just, all the safety of a prison or of some kind of Brazilian favela or something, I mean, this is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And it's time to address the fact that the upper elite want this chaos this way. This chaos makes everyone ripsaw back and forth and keeps everyone in a state of tension, so that they can never get their balance, and so they can always rob you and rip you off both ways, coming and going. Well, I'm saying no. This chaos has to come to an end, and since obviously the elite won't do it, the working class and the middle class and the what loyal elements there are of the upper class simply must band together, find the common interests that we have in common, and these all come right down to, we don't want our children to have to live around barbarians. The upper people live in their gated communities as far away as they can from this barbarism because of what I see. They can lie to themselves, but they know it's true. They don't want their families exposed to any of this. They don't want to actually have to, compete for jobs, though the upper elite believe they won't have to. History has shown this is not truth. Once you allow an alien occupation, and that's what this politically correct horde that's flooding into all the white Western countries is, it's an occupation. Once you allow an alien occupation, you will have replacement of the Heron folk, and you will have displacement of all the valuable jobs, and the occupied people will be relegated to serfdom or second-class citizen. That is the rule. The third worlders, they don't care about Geneva or other lawyer games. They're not going to accede to that. They're not going to bow to that gibberish. So, it behooves us to find ways to get to the average person and let them know they're not alone. Because the fact is when I talk to the average person directly, many of them have these thoughts I'm saying, but they think that they're the only people. It's only once they actually hear other people say these out loud that they start to say what they think. You can see it. It's like there's a light off and then they come alive, because they finally don't think they have to be silent. They finally think that there's some allowedness, I guess, for them to speak, And that's arrogant of us to say. I don't think that I allow people to speak. I don't even believe it's at all like that. I merely believe that I don't care about these communists' mind control taboos, and that my breaking the taboo allows for other people to come through the breach behind me and break the taboo further. And that the more of you that break these taboos, the more their power fades. A taboo only has power in so much as it can make you afraid. Once you are not afraid, its power is gone. Then, the elite and their corrupt system must use direct force to have their way. And once that happens, my brethren, we whites, we are the premier pack animal on this planet. We will be victorious.